I think when I used that rubric to evaluate my own course, the first thing I found was that it was huge. It was very complicated, and I didn't really know what to do with all that information. But as I started to apply it, I started to see the lack of organization in my own course. And then the purpose of the rubric all started to come together for me. And so then some of the things on there I thought, well, everybody knows that. But just because somebody knows it doesn't mean that they can communicate it in a way that everybody else can understand it. And so the rubric helped me put it into a format that every online learner could understand.
It was very informative. I found that it provided an opportunity to assess the course against a set of objective criteria so that I could make adjustments in the course that I probably wouldn't have noticed had I not done that. So it kind of forced one to sit back and make critical assessments of what needed to be done, what needed to be changed, what was good, what wasn't. And so I found it very edifying.
The virtual campus template really allowed us to come up with a consistent way to deliver the content of the courses. We didn't actually have anything in place before that. Everybody was kind of left to their own devices on how they put the syllabus, how they put instructions in the course, and this really gave us a chance to have a streamlined virtual campus look to the online courses, and that really helped students appreciate how to find things and how to look for syllabuses or modules and how to kind of navigate through the course. So I think that really enhanced the online courses for the students.
Now there's two extremes I think that need to be avoided, and one extreme is having a template that's very restrictive so that there's no creativity that can be garnered from it. The other extreme is that there's just no structure whatsoever. And I think that the framework that was offered was a moderation. It was a mean between those extremes.
The virtual campus template was really important to me because previously I thought it had a great layout. But the more I looked at the template that had been created by the instructional designers, right down to the colored little folders and the tabs, I saw the value in how it was going to help the students understand. And I like it that y'all took little 3 and 4 bits of information and put them together instead of, okay, when you open it up, here's your course. Y'all broke it down so that the students could learn it, internalize it, and just attack little pieces of it at a time instead of having to try to figure out the entire course at one time. So the template is very valuable.
The peer review really showcased the best practices of all our faculties, and I think before we didn't really get a chance to look at each other's courses or have an idea of how other people assess or engage students in an online environment. So I really think that it showed us how people were using different methods such as using social media or using higher echelons of Bloom's taxonomy to create assignments versus just having a question and answer type of assignment. So I really enjoyed looking at other people's thought process of how they assess and collaborate with students.
The benefits to me of working in a peer review process or through the peer review process were amazing. I think you teach a course for a long period of time and you think you've got a good course and you're content with it and it's working, or you think it's working, but to work with your colleagues across other disciplines and even within your own discipline, you realize that maybe some of the things you see they're doing might be a better way to do it than what you've always done. So I think it makes you want to strive to do better and to see what's available out there, what other things you could actually build into the shell. This is my second round of working with QM and doing our second set of courses, and this time I know in the process I want to do better than what I did before. I want to find out other things that may make the course more successful for students and help them to be able to navigate through it and master the material. Working with our instructional designer it was a team effort. I know in the beginning I was really concerned about the deadlines and trying to get things done, and one Friday I called up one of the designers and I said, well, what happens if I get stuck or one of our faculty members gets stuck on this over the weekend trying to get this done? And they said, just call us, just email us, we'll be there for you. And sure enough they were, and so it was a true process that they stood behind their word, and it worked out very, very good. And the faculty really enjoyed working with our designers.
My experience working with the instructional designer was a little bit rocky in the beginning. I have 20 years combined teaching experience. Obviously, I think I know what I'm doing, but I had an awakening. I think there's good parts and bad parts to a teacher that's been around for a long time. A good part is that you have a lot of knowledge. You have experience in the classroom. You have a million learning activities. But the negative is sometimes you get a little complacent in areas with which you're familiar, and you forget to see it from the perspective of the online learner. So I was a little resistant, and I was a little too busy, and I did not want to use the storyboard, because the storyboard was just something that was going to take up time when I already had all the stuff designed. But the way the instructional designer won me over was proving to me how this was going to be valuable to the student. And when I was able to accept, to see how valuable this was to the student, this learning format, I was totally won over, and I became a QM fan. The variety of perspectives that I didn't have from before, the additional new technologies that I was not at that time aware of. And what it comes down to is the instructional designers studied this. I studied business and marketing, but they studied how do online learners learn.
Well, I enjoyed it very much. I had ideas that I thought should be implemented, and my designer was willing to actually hear them and try and do her utmost to implement them, and she had great skill, in doing so. She was also able to add her own creative ideas, and so it was really a team effort, and I found that there was a good deal of cooperation. We never actually had any kind of disagreement. We had creative brainstorming processes that allowed us, to bring the course to fruition. And the very fact that this particular course that I worked on with her, the creative and critical thinking course, ended up with a perfect score, I think is a testimony to the fact that we did work very well together and did make great strides.